Okay, so here we are going to identify the greatest common factor of a set of terms. So we have 18x squared and 6x. So the GCF, first we're going to do 18 and 6. So the GCF for 18 and 6, remember 1 times 18, 3 times 6. So the GCF is 6 for the coefficients, and then x squared and x. The GCF for those would be x. Okay? 3x and negative 12. So the GCF for 3 and 12 is going to be 3. And then there's no x on the 12, so then there's no GCF for the x because it has to be enough to go into each term. Then we have 2a squared b and 15a. So 2 and 15, they don't have a GCF, but understand that it is a 1, right? And then a squared and a would be a. B has no GCF because there's not a B on the other term. So basically 1A or A is your GCF here. And we have 10y squared 6xy. So for 10 and 6, the GCF is a 2. And then y squared and xy, the GCF would just be y. Okay? All right. Let's see. So let's look at 3x and 4y. So we're doing a GCF. So 3x and 4y. So when we look at the 3 and the 4, the GCF there is a 1. When we look at x and y, again, there's just a GCF of 1. So for this instance, there's no variable that's going to come as a GCF. So you must show the 1. Okay, so you have to show that 1 is the GCF, as opposed to if we had 5x and 11x squared. Well, 5 and 11, the GCF would be a 1, but then I have a GCF of an x and the x squared. So I don't need to write the 1, I would just put the x. So it doesn't really matter if you put the 1x. It's just a matter of the more you understand, the more it'll help you just write it in the proper way and you not get confused.